how did you get Bradley?
He was in my first movie, Brothers Justice, and he had a really good time, and we're best buddies, and he was happy to...
It's a good role for him. He eats it, and he chews it out.
Yeah. I think, the scene between he and I, where I'm finding out what's happened to him in prison, and we're, like, trying to work through that as ex-best friends.
It has to do with butt-fucking, basically.
Yes, there's a butt-fucking undercurrent to it, but there's a sincerity with which I'm trying to, like, find the silver lining in this traumatic, terrible event. Like, on the surface, it's a butt-fucking joke, but it's not. It's really about one guy trying desperately to make light of this horrible thing. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And I think Cooper's so good in that scene that, the scene could have gone quite easily the other direction. It would have just been broad and stupid and
it's going to end up
smart.
being the scene everybody's talking about.
Yeah. Well,
if not for all the various politically incorrect things in the movie. Right?
Yeah, there's a...
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with
it doesn't
how guys talk.
Yes. I'm not afraid of words. I'm not afraid to acknowledge that certain words are in our lexicon or that people use them in certain ways. That doesn't scare me. I feel very resolved in that I'm not a homophobe and I'm not a racist, so I don't mind exploring all that stuff. I don't feel like I have any skeletons to hide. Yeah.
Or the moment where Kristen looks, she's realizing that this guy, this sensitive guy she's fallen in love with, who's been in this protection program, that she doesn't really know who he is, is into cars in a way.
Yeah.
That was a great perceptive. I just thought that was a great scene because, we all were thinking that as we were watching it.
There tends to be this, inclination in movies for everything to be binary. Oh, this guy's evil, this guy's good, this guy, I'm not a big believer in binary opposition. I think there's no evil, there's no angels. Like, everyone's flawed, everyone's this big bundle of, like, good qualities and bad qualities, and no one's perfect. So, that interests me a lot more than just, like, traditional archetypes. Even Cooper's the bad guy, and he's assaulting someone when you meet him, but he's doing it because he really loves dogs. Like, he's passionate about treating animals well. That's complicated. I like that. That makes you go like, wait, are we rooting for this guy or not? I mean, I don't think this guy should feed his dog sawdust either. Maybe he's right,
No, but the big black guy was hitting on his girlfriend in line.
Right.
And,
but it's...
he wasn't going to let him get away with that.
Right. Well, I think it's about the dog food, personally. I really do.
All right. So, how much did it cost?
That's not public information. Next question.
Below 5.
Below $100 million.
No way.
Below $100 million. You're looking at me like maybe.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So, red camera, what kind of digital?
The Alexa.
Okay. So, and in the big.
The Alexa has some 60D Canons, and there's one GoPro shot in it.
So the car, the Lincoln Continental, is yours.
Is my real life car.
Had it for how long?
For 10 or 12 years, somewhere in there, and it's been in its current hot rod state for about 3 years. Or 4 years. I started building it 4 years ago.
And you race?
Yes, I race off-road, which the off-road race car in the movie is mine. And that's us jumping in that. Yeah.
And you did your own driving, your own stunts?
Yes.
All of the above?
Yes.
Insurance?
We had it. I think we violated it probably regularly, but we didn't. We miraculously made it through the entire shoot without smashing a single car. The only thing we broke was my Lincoln. It was very temporary. We broke a rotor hat, but then we were fine.
So that's all. This is what you're saying about this. This is you. That's personal to you. That's also personal. To
yes,
you.
very. Yes, very, very personal. That is my passion. Movies and cars are the two things that excite me and make me want to go to work.
And when you're doing all those big car chase sequences, which are hard, they're logistically difficult.
Yes.
People like Sam Peckinpah and freaking, figured out how to do these things a long time ago. How did you learn how to do them?
Well, I'll tell you this. There were, as I said last night in the Q&A, I wrote the script in 3 weeks. There's some that were really well mapped out in the script, and those were much easier to shoot. And there were some that weren't mapped out as well in the script, and those were a lot more challenging to shoot. So the lesson I definitely learned is the thing I just wrote that we're going to do in February is like beyond detailed. which makes it not the greatest read if you're not the director. But there's shot selections in the writing now because it was so much easier when we got there, and it had been really, really well thought out.
I'm
before
excited
getting there.
to see what you do next. So what is this next one?
Send Lawyers, Guns, and Money is going to be the next one. They'll be in Hawaii, which is nicer to shoot in than 60 miles north of
the desert.
LA. Yeah, in July.
And have you raised financing for that?
Yeah, we now, based on what happened with this, and my goal is to always shoot cheap, so I don't want someone to give me $50 million and send me away. There's something that comes out of the challenge of moving fast. I
was going to ask if Clint was another person you admired.
Clint Eastwood?
Indeed.
No, I would say more Soderbergh. Like, I recently read an interview with Soderbergh where he was, because I think there's this conventional way to challenge a director where they go like, well, David Fincher does 90 takes. He's clearly brilliant, so if you're not doing 90 takes, you're not a good director. And I just love that Soderbergh said, we're looking for different things. I wouldn't even know how to try to get what he's looking for. He's like, that's not what I bring to this equation.
Soderbergh likes to shoot his own movies himself, do the camera.
Yes, he likes to operate.
And he also gave one of the great quotes of all time to me at one time about how what he doesn't like about Hollywood movies is they look like they've been shot out of the back of a limousine.
Right.
Always remember that.
Right.
And that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Even some people, I don't know. As an example, I'm always looking at these movies and wishing they were the indie version. Not Clint.
Yeah.
I think Clint does what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What Soderbergh's talking about.
Yeah.
That's what actors who expect a lot of takes don't get them.
Yeah, well, and obviously if you have access to, like, the people I was fortunate enough to have access to, it's not necessary. Like, Kristen Bell is a phenomenally talented actress. She's going to give you something on take number 3 that, is going to rival any other thing you'll see in a movie. I personally also, I don't get better take 9 through 28. That's not my gear. I'm sure there's actors that are like that, but everyone's different. And I just know for myself, you're not getting better. You're getting something different, but I wouldn't argue that it's better. And if you need 90 takes, you're not a good communicator. You're not telling the actor how to get what you want. That's a failure of communication on the director's part, in my opinion. And the directors who think they have to trick actors or manipulate actors, I just don't know. Then you're not working with the right actors if you need all these tricks.
Well, half of it's casting, as
I'm
they
very
always say.
opinionated on
Yes,
this
I know
topic.
that. I can see that. Well, you've worked in the system, and you have reasons to criticize.
Well,